super important, and
Yeah,
that should be
EPKs.
EPKs, yeah.
EPKs. EPK is electronic press kit.
Yeah.
So that should be a page on your website, and like all the things I listed.
Like a tab?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
just what, EPK almost or something?
Yeah. EPK or press kit, and that should be like all the things I listed should be in your EPK. Like you can separate up like the bio and everything, but basically, for the press kit, you want to have everything that someone might need to know if they want to book you.
But as of right now, I feel like it's when I was and I didn't have any understanding America had adopted citywide composting. I couldn't all, but I didn't understand it. Kind of
All right, well, we're here with Kaspien. That's his artist name. Our good friend Karim. How are you doing today?
Doing great, guys. Thank you for having me, Justin.
Yeah.
Justin.
Yes, Justin Squared. Yo, thanks for being on, honestly.
J Squared. I'm glad to be here. This is a lot of fun. I've been looking forward to this.
Absolutely. And I guess we'll just start off with the music side of things. We've met each other. I believe we've met each other through the open mic scene and everything live, or maybe just through shows and stuff like that.
It must have been you doing sound for the open mics at Live on Elgin. That must be it. Yeah,
Right
like
on.
years ago.
Actually, I was gonna say I even remember you doing like a couple covers at Blue Cactus.
Yeah.
Doing for the Sundays. Yeah. And I think I actually might have ran into you there the first time.
You think so?
Yeah, I think before open mic. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
But are you working on any music right now? You were mentioning before you're doing some recording at the moment. Do you have anything going on? Like.
Yeah. So I've got a ton of songs that I've written over the course of the last like 3-4 years that I've just been sitting on these demos and am finally recording them properly. So very excited about that. We've got 3 singles, 3 or 4 that are getting prepped right now, and I've already got like music videos kind of set up for them and everything. So I think it's gonna be a big summer for all the Cass heads in the audience.
Yeah, I love to hear that. And honestly, that's a good way to approach it, I find, is to get a lot of stuff done at one time.
Yeah.
Get a lot of music done, get a lot of the video stuff done, and then you can kind of like release in sequence as you go, and you're always a step ahead.
Yeah, for sure.
That's awesome. Can you share like the names of any of them or any particular one you're really looking forward to?
I can definitely share the names. I've got what I'm like really excited for is Duck Hunter. I think that one has like a really interesting story. I mean, these are songs that I've been playing live for like years, so it's not going to be a surprise to anyone that like knows me that these songs are coming out. But I think it is really exciting that there will be a recorded version of them. But that song specifically is it was based on a story that a friend of mine told me of her like ex, who was just like this like complete freak, like would try to train himself to be like just like not feeling and like a sociopath, and would like like he would like hunt ducks and like kill them with his bare hands and stuff, like to like try and like not feel
Is this
shit.
a real story?
Yeah.
Shit, because I was gonna say I think I've heard
Some,
this a little bit before.
yeah,
when you've done it at open mic.
Characteristics
that's crazy.
of the dark triad.
Oh boy. Yeah. No, it's insane. I wrote Duck Hunter based on that, and I remember being like, this was at the like peak of like lockdowns and stuff. So I would Skype this friend, and so I was like, hey, so remember that really crazy story you told me? So I kind of like wrote a song about it, and like, listen, if you're not comfortable me playing it, I won't, but I think it's like really good. And thankfully she loves the song, and I can still play it live.
Nice. Honestly though, I find that really courteous of you to ask about it too, just because it's such a sensitive subject.
Oh, for sure.
So that's a cool step, first of all. So but the second thing is like, I even like thinking back on listening to that song, I'd have to hear it again, just like recently, but I can kind of hear the tonality behind that, like, and how, like, the darkness behind it when you're actually singing it. So just to hear the story that's actually behind the song I've heard so many times is pretty cool, man, like in detail.
Yeah.
And that's wild. And I find stuff that, like, that's kind of where you get the coolest creative ideas, is from just like really obscure stuff sometimes, and really like maybe deep stories or something.
Totally. Yeah, that's honestly, like, I try to write songs based on things that have happened to either myself or friends or something. Like it's almost like a writing prompt. Like, I want to tell like a story with my songs, because if I don't, I feel like all of my songs kind of end up sounding the same. I end up writing about the same kind of thing. So just being like, yeah, let's try and tell a story with this helps me out a lot. And I think that's the same thing with most of the singles that I'm prepping. Another one is called Cinder, which is like a lot more, it's like kind of more sweet and romantic, but it's about like one of like the most insane dates I've ever been on. And I think they're all kind of fun in that way. Like, they're unique in a specific way. They all kind of like have names where it's like the title of the song is sort of like a weird kind of nickname I've given the person I'm writing or like singing to, like Duck Hunter, Cinder, Excalibur. That is where I need to diversify, I think.
Where did you come up with the name Kaspien as an artist name?
That's a good question. So I used to write music and perform under a different name. It was like such a bad name too. I don't even want to say it, but when I started my master's,
Masters?
I have a master's in media production. From
university. Yeah.
From university, yeah.
Obviously, but that's crazy. I didn't know that, man. That's
yeah,
fucking dope.
yeah.
That's awesome.
It was back in 2018, 2017. It's been a while now, but
Like, shit, that's a mission.
It's a mission for sure. Yeah, it was just a year long, but you got to choose like your final research project that you wanted to produce, and so I decided to write and record like a 6-song EP that kind of it's about ocean conservation, basically. Each song is sort of like an episode in this sort of overarching kind of dark fairy tale that's like very nautical themed and everything, and there's like different characters and stuff like that, and I kind of saw it as like an opportunity to rebrand. So I chose Kaspien because it's the name of like, Prince Caspian from Narnia. It's like a character that people might, associate with like, heroism or something. But also it's like the Caspian Sea, nautical themed.
That's crazy.
And I guess the K would be based on Karim. Like, there's just the little flair there. Like,
yeah, the K.
Right on.
And I have it spelled Kaspien, which I felt was like a bit more French because I don't know. I'm kind of French.
Kaspien.
That's a pretty cool name, I must say. I think it's like unique in its own right, and also it's good. I guess you could really use it for marketing as well, like as like an entity on itself. But I also want to know, like, how did you even start playing music, and how did you get into music in general? What's that story sound like?
Yeah, well, my everyone in my family plays an instrument. I think my mom plays piano, my dad plays guitar, and so myself and my sisters, we it was like a no-brainer that we would just, take up some sort of instrument and take lessons and stuff. Nice. So that's kind of how I started. I started with guitar lessons, and I wasn't really, I wasn't super interested in it until I started wanting to write my own songs, and then that's what really pushed me to like actually keep playing guitar. And even then, I mostly do rhythm because I feel like my main focus is like, what I'm singing.
Songwriter.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's kind of how I started writing music, and like, from, this sort of like musical family. It's funny, I'd always kind of like see musical artists as sort of role models and stuff like that. Like, I always kind of like looked up to musicians, so it's just always something that I kind of wanted to feel, to do. Yeah.
That's great.
awesome.
And actually looping back around, I guess, to the theme behind a lot of what you write, like you're saying, it's usually got a deep story behind it and things like that. Would you say that's kind of what influences your like your actual rhythms and things that you come up with, like the musicality behind it? Is it rooted on the story, or is it more just like you think of kind of the vibe and then that fits certain things you've written and vice versa?
Yeah. I think it was very intentional when I put out that EP that I mentioned. It's called Diver, by the way, and it's it's streamable and stuff. That one I really wanted the instrumentation and the musicality and arrangements and everything to really reflect the story and stuff. And I felt like, these major 7 chords sound so like kind of like wavy and oceany, and like I did a lot of like 6/8 rhythms because I felt like that was a very like nautical feel, and I don't know,
Almost got the Jack Sparrow bounce to it, like the swagger.
Yeah, and like a lot of reverb and like some like kind of like surf rock kind of style guitar parts and stuff like that. Like I don't know, like I just kind of I had a very clear vision for what I wanted that album to sound like, and it was very, very purposeful, and everything was done with intention with that album. But since then, it's kind of been integrated in like my sort of natural way of songwriting, and like so like these things still kind of pop up in songs where I don't really plan on it, but it's just I feel like it's part of like my voice now, which is cool. That's so great. You'll still find a lot of major 7 chords, a lot of reverb, and 6/8 for sure.
Yeah, because there's always certain elements for every artist that like you find kind of doesn't mean it's always going to be specific. You'll always experiment and kind of think outside the box, but it's like you're almost like your niche, like certain chords are your niche, or certain rhythms are your niche, or certain types of drums, or like things that just like help your creative process. Like I know I have a certain vibe, like when we jam with like live funk band stuff, and like that really gets my creative aspect going. Like,
yeah. No, I can feel that for sure. Yeah, my bassist Rich Berry, who I think you both know, likes to like he just like memes me so hard, like just like, oh yeah, this is like the basis of a Kaspien song, major 7 chords, 6/8, weird lyrics I don't understand. yeah.
It'll
make
sense.
Goes. Yeah.
So like, how old were you when you started playing music?
I think I was around. I feel like I started taking lessons when I was in maybe grade 3 or something, like very, very young, like too young to
that young, grade 3. Wow.
Yeah, like kind of, yeah. It was a baby. It was maybe like a bit young. I just like couldn't. I wasn't really taking it like super seriously, and I think I kind of took it for granted. But I started writing music when I was like grade 6, grade 7, and that's when it really kind of like took off and like just became like my hobby. I would just like write songs in the style of like Arctic Monkeys in my basement like every day, and that was like my life. Yeah.
You seem like you're pretty involved in the Ottawa, specifically Ottawa music community, right?
Yeah.
And so you work for OMIC, right?
Yeah.
And can you tell us a bit about that and what they do and what your mission is, kind of mission statement, I guess you could say?
Sure, yeah. It's funny. We're actually like reworking our sort of strategic plan right now, but I can generally say that OMIC is short for Ottawa Music Industry Coalition, which is why we call it OMIC. It's so much shorter. And we are we're sort of like Ottawa's music office, but at an arm's length from the city. We do get some funding from the city, but we also rely heavily on grants for the rest of the funding and membership, membership like costs or whatever. We separate what we do into 3 sort of categories. We have professional development, which is, we try to educate like, music workers and musicians in Ottawa through these panels that we hold called the Independent Music Business Series, IMB. And those have been going on for like years, way before I have been involved in partnership with Edwards Creative Law, which is a law firm here in Ottawa. So we kind of focus on, stuff from, touring Canada and the US, Europe, to also like how do you do radio tracking? How do you deal with being a parent, but also working in the music industry? Like we do like, a huge variety of things there. I think one of them that we're going to be doing next month is about the legality and art of beat making, which should be cool. Yeah.
So kind of like based on the legality behind sampling and
Yeah,
things
exactly.
like that. And like, yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so that's professional development. We also have like, conferences and things like that where like these sort of like panels happen in person, but usually it's like virtual and very easy for anyone to kind of join in. It's always free and open to everyone. We do a lot of advocacy and, like to put it, short, like, to generalize, we want more funding to go to the music industry and sort of like the arts sector in Ottawa. So we are lucky enough to have like a bit of weight where like we have a voice that carries through to like the municipal government a bit, better than other organizations, I think, in Ottawa, because we do have that relationship where like we are kind of funded by the city. So like we try and like use that weight to, just get like better like bursaries like available for artists and organizations, and just better funding in general. And the third thing is just programming. Like we have a lot of like performances and things like that we create as opportunities for local businesses, local music workers like sound technicians, and local artists, obviously, for performances and stuff like that. Like
That's amazing.
yeah.
What is like is OMIC is not provincially owned, is it? Is it
No.
non-for-profit?
It's a nonprofit, yeah.
Nonprofit, okay.
Yeah.
And in reference to what you were saying earlier, in terms of people like applicants, how does one get involved, and what does that look like?
Yeah, so the most you can do is become a member and apply for every single like opportunity that we throw out there. Like we sometimes have grants. We usually have a lot of performance opportunities. We have our yearly music awards where like you can nominate your friends or yourself to possibly receive an award, which will be really cool this year. I think we're going to be doing June 1st at the Bronson Center. Should be sick. Yeah.
I gotta join.
Yeah. And we're also like this year, we're doing a lot of like changes. Like we're like redefining our strategic plan, for example. It's also like the first year that our new executive director kind of has full control of like what she wants to do, because
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, Melanie Brulé is our new executive director. She's like fantastic. She used to be a performing artist. She's done it all. She's fantastic, and she really has a good idea of what a local artist or business would need in order to make it in the industry, and identifies the gaps that are in the current industry here in Ottawa. So, she has a bit more say in what we're doing now, because we've caught up with all of our grants and everything. So now we're applying for new things, and she's making some big changes. To build trust, we are like offering free memberships like pretty frequly, and we are holding these member meetups almost every month where you can just like meet with us, find out what we're up to, and and just like get to know us a bit better, like in person. We're a very small team. It's pretty much just me and Melanie, and sometimes a summer student, and if we can afford another person, then we bring them on.
Damn.
But we are the two full-time
That's incredible.
workers.
And honestly, I'm incredibly grateful for like that kind of thing, because you guys are helping, because we've talked about it many times on this before, because we've had a lot of artists on, and like same as yourself, like we have a really vibrant scene in Ottawa, and it's kind of overshadowed in a lot of ways based on whatever logistics, like you said, funding, different things. So it's nice to have a voice like that does have influence, and you guys do make such a difference, because yeah, I find Toronto and Montreal, people are always talking about thriving and moving there and like going to get bigger, you know. But it's like I feel like we can create that momentum here if we just kind of focus it in a bit more.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
that takes a lot of working
Well,
together.
I agree with you, but I think also participation, right? I think everybody needs to kind of like fundamentally participate in order to bring up Ottawa.
Agreed. Yeah, like we got to be more aware of. So it's nice to bring awareness to these kind of like things that you guys do. Like
It's one of the main reasons we're podcasting, honestly.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, no, it's for sure. Like I think like our, blue sky dream is, at least for the organization is for this city to be somewhere where someone would possibly consider moving to Ottawa to pursue a career in music. That'd be crazy, and that's what I think they're looking for. But yeah, I just there is so much going on in Ottawa, and like I'm really thankful for this job to like give me the opportunity to kind of discover it like so easily, because it's not easy for most people to find out about like who is this? Like, what is this person doing? Like, there's just so much going on. So many really cool things. But
how do you build exposure in that area then? What's the solution?
It's tough, and I like honestly, I don't know if I have all the answers, but we're doing what we can to kind of bring as much attention as we can. For example, like our music awards, we invite like city councilors, we invite the mayor, we invite we invite like local like broadcasting like agencies and newscasters to come and like cover this event. Like we want people to see that there is like some stuff like worth acknowledging and celebrating in the city. We also have a lot of like different like concert series. Like City Sounds is like this thing that we do in the summer where we partner up with different BIAs, different neighborhoods in the city, and just put on like a little day of like a couple of performances in those neighborhoods near businesses, so that people will be attracted to those businesses. It's like we do different things like that.
I've seen it like you guys did it at the Byward Market before and things like that. Like I think I've seen some.
It's a classic location for us. Yeah.
What made you get involved with Mike? Or like why? Like because that's what you're doing, right? For work, I guess you could say, right?
Yeah, it's my full-time job right now, and I was honestly like just really fortunate to like this job almost landed in my lap, pretty much. That's awesome. It was the middle. The pandemic had just started, just a few months into the lockdown. I had been working in a high school at the time, and we had ended for spring break or March break, and we just like did not come back. And I happened to know the ED at the time, Jamie Kwong, who was also fantastic, and I was told, just like apply for this new position that we've got. OMIC had like this huge kind of turnover, where basically when the pandemic hit, the employees at the time quit, and the board had to like kind of like restaff the organization. I don't know all the details, but that's how it's been told to me. The ED was 2 months into the job at the time, and then I came in 2 months later, and there was a kind of big learning curve as to like what's going on in the city, like who's doing like cool stuff, who should I be like paying attention to, who should I be looking out for, like for advice and things like that.
I guess in a way you're kind of like a representative of OMIC, and you go around, because I know you go to a decent amount of shows. Are you always trying to network? Is networking on your list of goals?
Sometimes.
Or is it part of your job?
It's not part of my job per se, but there are some times where like an event I'm going to is specifically like I'm showing up there as a representative of OMIC. But I do honestly just go to a lot of shows just because I like going to them. And
nice.
Networking is such a like, some people see it as such a like kind of dirty word, but like I do really enjoy
like a daunting
like,
task.
Yeah. But
it has so many layers to it, though.
For
right?
sure.
Like,
yeah.
It's like, yes, you are the core value of networking, I guess, is looking to make connections in something you're passionate about and something where you can maybe reciprocate like work back and forth with someone.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like networking can just be making the connection of artistry in general.
For sure.
And just the fact that it's like, oh, we're all part of the same scene. You know, it's good to see other faces that are familiar. And
Yeah.
The way I see it is I just sometimes I just show up just to make a presence.
Yeah,
And then
absolutely.
like see people who I know, obviously to listen to the musicians, but you know, just actively try and support them in a way that I can, you know.
Yeah,
show up.
totally.
Especially when it's something you haven't seen before. Like you were saying, it is hard to find. So it does take people to actively go out and just look sometimes and see, you know.
Yeah.
So like I've come across some shows that like I can't think of names off the top of my head, but just like I've come across shows before where I've just went in. You know, actually one way back was like Ross Lee. It was this really dope like reggae band.
Okay.
Performer.
Yeah, they're dope.
Reggae performer. Yeah. And he was I think I remember it was his birthday and we had like the same birthday or something. It was weird. Yeah, weird situation, but yeah, that was one of those days. It's just kind of like you walk into the rainbow, you hear some music from the outside.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and it was it was just worth reaching out and going inside because I ended up having a good time. I discovered some new music.
That's awesome.
And you just see another part of the scene that you may otherwise miss, you know.
Totally. Yeah. I just like getting to know people, honestly. I like
Yeah.
knowing people. I'm like
Same.
I feel like I'm not doing it for like personal gain most of the time. I'm just trying to like make new friends.
It's like the networking things that might benefit you in professional career. It's like that'll come if you need it, you know, but it's
Sure.
like, yeah, it's just nice to have like good people around in general.
Yeah, totally.
And a lot of the tasks where you're talking about artist development, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
is that what you actually do? Like, is that?
So like kind of like I'm program coordinator.
Okay.
So pretty much what I do is coordinate like events and stuff like that, and like coordinate artists, make sure that, you know, they've got all the information they need, that they know when to show up and everything like that. It's cool. Like I get to like, you know, just talk to these like experts and musicians, like, you know, right away and get to know them and like make sure they know everything that's going on, and it's really cool. It's a great job, honestly. Yeah.
That's awesome. It's cool how like core relates to like music in general, right?
Yeah.
Like you're a musician, then you like work for a company who like trying to like upbring musicians. It's pretty cool. It's a win-win.
Yeah. No, I learn a lot secondhand just by watching these other artists that are like absolutely killing it. I'm like, oh, I should do that too.
Well,
Yeah.
and actually that leads me to say like, how does that influence your studio time? Would you say like, even just or like the difference from going from the program coordinating and doing like the show stuff to actually being like the artist side in a studio and having to kind of like get into that headspace of just being the one recording and somebody else is like running the show? Like what is that like for you? Like,
Yeah, it's cool, and you know, it's kind of like with work, like I don't really do like much like studio stuff. So like I feel like when I am in the studio for my own stuff, it's cool to finally be like, oh yeah, like now I can like tell all these artists like, oh yeah, I've got some music coming out, you should check it out too, and you know, and share the love. But I just kind of I think the main thing that I take away from my job is knowing how to be like act professionally as a musician. I think that's something that some artists just there aren't a lot of artists that like know what they need to do in order to be, you know, taken seriously as a professional. Like get
that's
a website.
actually really important. Yeah.
Like there's a few things that come to mind. Like honestly, like getting a website is so much more important than you think it is. Like if I hear your name and I'm considering you, considering to book you for something, like the first thing I do is like I'm going to go on your social media and I'm going to look for a website. I want to find your bio. I want to find a video of you, you know, performing live, so I can like get a sense of like what you sound in a live session, like setting. Mm-hmm. I want some like press photos. Like these are things that are super helpful and will take you like, you know, you could get all of those things done in like a week, you know?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I don't have a website.
Listen,
I have
man,
social media, but I don't have a website.
we're going to talk after this.
Nice.
No, it makes sense. I guess in my mind, you know, I'm happy you brought that up because it's always something I thought of in the back of my mind. But I'm like, I don't need a website really. Like, you just have Facebook, and I got a link tree, I got a YouTube page, everything's in one area. It's like, do you really need it, like a website?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have.
It looks good.
I have heard the concept too of the trickle down effect. Like, it's like no matter what you're doing, like social media, whether it's even just like pictures of your album art or something on a random website, if it all leads back to a core website that's just based on you, it's like the best form of, like, even just for the probably psychologically, like for people to sit there and be like, oh, this is like that artist specifically. So I guess that does make sense, like, because I have been told that before, and I agree. I don't have a website yet, like, fully made, which I should.
Here we are, just fucking up.
I mean, it's like, hopefully right now I'm just promoting my art, and I'm hoping people just listen, but it's like, that is the next goal, though, to be honest. I'm glad you bring it up, because I have been told in the past that it's like the best thing to do is feed everything, your social media, everything back into your website. Yeah. Find a way to link people to it, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Like, I know, like, a link tree, you can pretty much have all the information you need, like, there.
Yeah.
But, like, if I'm looking at one artist and they have, like, this, like, nice looking, it doesn't even need to be a nice looking website, but if they have a dedicated website with a good, URL that's obviously theirs and stuff like that, and all the information I need is on that website, and I can, remember the name of the URL and everything, that looks better than someone that just has a link tree,
I'm going to make one.
Yes.
Honestly, I'm going to listen to you.
Do it.
It's obviously true. Work for old Mike, and so I'm going to actually learn from this, and I'm going to fucking make a website.
Yeah. Not to throw any, like, brands around, I don't know if it's okay. Like, I'm gonna recommend a website builder.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bandzoogle is Canadian.
I learned about that in the MIA course, actually.
They're great. Super easy to build a website, and it's like designed for artists. Like, they make it easy for you to sell your music on the website. You can have music playing throughout the website. You can have like your gigs like listed in a calendar form or in a list form, and like link to like the websites, or like sell tickets right off the site.
Really?
They make it so easy. Bandzoogle.
I've heard of it before. What about Squarespace?
I use Squarespace. Like, the OMIC website is on Squarespace right now, and we're switching to Bandzoogle. I personally think it kind of sucks. Bandzoogle is nice. Yeah, Squarespace kind of sucks. I find it's you can't customize enough, and it's just like not as intuitive as Bandzoogle, to be honest.
And you are going for artistry, right? Like, you're going for that creative kind of element to it.
And it's simple. It looks good.
Do you know how much it costs?
Because
you got to buy your domain.
I have a Bandzoogle website. I think, with the domain and everything, I don't remember. I think it's like, I want to say $20 a year, but maybe it's more.
Either way,
Well, just for the domain, it's probably like around $20. But then isn't there
like
like a recurring subscription every month, or like $9 to $12 to $15 for this website?
Yeah, I'm paying yearly. I think it's like $16 or something
a year for everything.
I'm pretty sure. I might be wrong. Like,
bad.
Either way, it's a very good price annually.
Yeah.
From what I remember,
it's
Really,
Like, I think even like the pro account or something's like $40 tops or something. Like,
probably.
Oh,
it's competitive for sure.
I have a fucking question. What are they called? Press kits, I think.
Press kits, yeah.
How important? Well, I know they're important, but
super important, and that should
EPKs.
be EPKs.
EPKs, EPK is electronic press kit. So that should be a page on your website, and like all the things I listed,
like a tab.
Just
EPK almost or something.
EPK or press kit, and that should be. Like all the things I listed should be in your EPK. Like you can separate up like the bio and everything, but basically, for the press kit, you want to have everything that someone might need to know if they want to book you. So you can even attach like a PDF of your stage plot if you want. Have
website information.
Contact information, video of you performing live, super important. Some press photos. That they can use for posters or whatever, super important.
Email,
yeah. Also, if you've been in the press, link the articles. you know, whether it's like for a performance or
genius.
or you know, like a you know, song review or whatever, like link those in your press kit.
It's funny because
yeah.
this was years ago, but huge shout out to Music Industry Arts at
Yeah.
Algonquin, because literally this is all stuff we covered. Like we were
Totally.
talking about EPKs, literally
Yeah, yeah.
mentioned Bandzoogle. We had like a whole class on
They did that in the
Bandzoogle.
intro too.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did that in the intro.
But
as
it just
well.
it's funny how much it reigns true. I think what I really take away from a lot of this too is that it's the simplicity behind it. It's kind of like how you go back to the idea of word of mouth. Like when just telling people directly, like, hey, this band is great, I know these guys, whatever. It's the same thing with the website and an EPK and everything. It's just a very like straightforward definition. There's none of this flair. There's none of the added like kind of like social media aspects. It's just all the elements are based on your stuff.
Yeah.
So it kind of like it gives people just a very like fair blanketed view of you, you know, like if that makes sense. But
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense.
Where would you, do you think it's worth it creating your own press kit, or should you get it done professionally, or where would you go and do it? Is that just design, straight up design?
Yeah, just straight up design. There isn't like a format, you know, that you need to follow. You can like I know people, you can hire someone to do it for you, but honestly, like you probably have all the information you need. You like if you want to get someone to help you write a
accessibility
bio,
of everything.
like sure, yeah, like
You use like Canva or something.
yeah, you can use Canva, but honestly, it doesn't need to be like a sheet or something, you know, like it just like
Just even like
a page on your
links and
website,
stuff,
like,
yeah.
you know, add a text
as long as
box.
everything's legible and like kind of leads you somewhere is I guess
Yeah.
the main thing.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I'm gonna work on that, man.
yeah. I can
I was taking mental notes the whole time.
for
That's
sure.
awesome.
I can send you like
Artist photo.
examples if you want.
Yeah. Any resources would be good.
I think Bandzoogle actually has like they do like little blog posts, blog articles on like different things for musicians, and I think they have one about like building a press kit.
Because we actually don't even have a website for this podcast yet
Yeah.
either. So that's something that we were looking at, and I was looking at Squarespace. Like I've helped, actually the tea that you're drinking.
Yeah,
It's
good tea.
Well, he uses Shopify, right? To like
Right.
kind of, it's really good. It's easy for product, for shipping and all that stuff. So I built his website.
Right.
So Shopify, I've done it before. I attempted drop shipping once
Yeah.
a while back. So I built another one back in the day. But I've also like my old band Blast from the Sun. We did have a website, and so I have a tiny bit of experience. It's not really that overly complex. I don't think, like, especially with you sign up, you get a website, you buy a domain name, and then it's just like a bunch of templates that you just essentially like fill in, right?
right. Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
not.
pretty
You're
much.
right. It could take like a week or something if you really just took your time.
When I said it takes a week, it's like a week if you need to like, you know, get a video filmed or get some photos taken. But if you already have all that, then like it'll take you like 2 hours, you know?
True. Yeah, it's just slapping it all together.
Yeah. Yeah. I just like, you know, hired a friend of mine to film me at a gig at Live on Elgin at one point, and, you know, posted like a video of 2 of the songs from that. And that honestly, it did wonders. Like I got this like great, you know, opportunity to showcase at an event and stuff like that. Like, yeah, it's super, super useful. Like, especially like seriously, get a live video of you. That sounds good. And that looks good.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
actually that'll be our next step. Yeah, because we got a pretty good one at our last show at Live, but it was
Yeah.
just like I was
Well, it's off
mentioning,
a
the
phone.
bass was
And,
shaky. Yeah,
Like honestly, like let me step like I'm gonna retrace my steps here, because honestly, even if you just have a video from a phone, that is better than nothing. Like it's better than linking a music video.
true.
Yeah.
So no music video.
You can have your music video in your press kit if you want, just to kind of show that you've done that. But absolutely have a video of you performing live. Even if it is an iPhone video or something, and like the sound isn't great.
Yeah.
Like you just need to show that you can like play in time with your band, or like
Yeah,
That's
that's
very
fair.
true.
that you have a good stage presence. Like
Because the music video will be another leg of that.
Yeah.
You know, like another avenue that people can look at your art or whatever. And but yeah, it's not really relative to them wanting to book you per se.
Yeah.
So actually, I mean, like the video we have is like I'd even say is good enough to put like, you know, little clips out of it.
I'm sure it is.
Maybe. But we could make something better, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially
true.
what we've done in
We're
the past.
nitpicky
Well,
with
what we
it.
did too is like you took the iPhone.
Yeah.
And when we imported it into the like the software, you can actually take the audio and then you just
Yeah.
upload it in Pro Tools and mix it real quick.
Yeah. That's probably fine.
Yeah, it's even better.
Well, clearly iPhone videos are like a lot better than what they used to be. I'm sure it's like totally fine.
Well, just technology in general, man. It's
Yeah.
crazy what you can do nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just before I lead into another question, I was just going to go back to the lemon verbena tea. I'm glad you like it. First of all, shout out to KOT, Mitigaman
Almost done my
Agriculture.
cup here.
Yeah, you can find it on Shopify. And but yeah, oh, that's what I was gonna kind of lead to as well. The website thing, like we have our podcast even on all these different platforms, and that's why I think though, even going back to the website thing, it is truly important because we have that what was it, Anchor or whatever. So we've got our podcast accessible on all these other listening platforms,
right?
As well as the video thing. We've got it uploaded to YouTube, all this shit. So it's kind of cool to have all these different ways that people can consume it. Even if you're driving, you can like listen on it.
Yeah.
But if we had a website to back it up, going back to the Cabin in the Clearing official website, that would be a good place for us to actually like link all these things.
Yeah.
And then send people like if it's like, oh, okay, well, what type of way are you trying to listen to it? Here's that.
Totally.
And then you've got like another tab with the press kit and things like that, and we can even have samples of our videos.
I'm wondering if Bandzoogle would be good.
It would be,
for,
yeah.
I'm sure it would be
for this
honestly.
podcast, yeah.
Because I mean,
Check it out. Yeah.
we're doing media related things anyway.
Yeah.
Art related things.
I think it would work fine.
Right.
You can even like if you want
Because
to
we're
sell
looking to
merch.
sell music too. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Merch is another
It's
path
Because
to
we
go
can
down.
still have music, sold on our website, or have it,
Yeah.
linked to our artist stuff.
I think
somehow
it's
like that.
I would recommend it. If you ever did like a live show or something and wanted to sell tickets right off your website, you wouldn't even need like Eventbrite or like rely on another venue to website to sell the tickets. Like you could have your own event and just sell
Well, where does
tickets.
the
Yeah, true. It
funds
doesn't
go?
get saturated with it.
Was that sorry?
The funds go, like, let's say somebody buys tickets on Bandzoogle or whatever.
Yeah.
Does it go into some like account or it just goes
You
link
link
your
your PayPal. Yeah.
Really, yeah?
Yeah.
Wow. What does the future look like for Kaspien?
Ooh, more shows. Once this next EP or LP, I'm not sure how many songs I'm gonna put out in a single, time, is out. I am hoping to start doing some like small touring, regional touring, Ottawa or like Ontario, Quebec maybe. Should be cool. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna keep on making music, play shows, meet new people, and just whatever to make art. Doing stuff with my good friend Hans as well.
Yeah.
So,
Like a side project?
Yeah.
So-
I'm trying to get into like as many side projects as I can now, because like I feel like different genres and different writing styles are great outlets for me.
Oh, you know what?
That's amazing, yeah.
This would be really interesting to hear your perspective on.
Okay.
So I don't know if you went to or like we came up with this concept called mixtape. So it's an event that me and him created,
Uh-huh.
right? And so we did our first one live on Elgin, and it was pretty like it went really well. We
Really well,
almost sold
yeah.
out the venue,
Right.
And there's a lot of people, and so the concept of a mixtape was because basically my band, I'm like a blues kind of rock, like funk,
Yeah.
whatever, right? And so I like to showcase my music, but at the same time, we're backing up JP to do like live hip hop, kind of like NPR style, right?
Yeah.
So that's what we did. But then to mix it up, in the concept of a mixtape is to like get different genres of music into one night. So when
Yeah.
somebody shows up, there's something for everybody essentially, right? So we
Yeah.
had like kind of like folk. What was her name? Lenny Jones.
Leanie Jones,
Leanie
yeah.
Jones,
Leanie
yeah.
Jones and
Yeah.
Rob, honestly,
Yeah.
they
Hell
did like
yeah.
a great duet style, more acoustic.
Oh, cool.
Super, just like, but beautiful vocal harmonies and things like that. Like he's saying a little more folky, a little more storytelling.
And then
Gravelines.
Gravelines,
Yeah,
like
the Gravelines.
alternative. Well, not alternative, but like more rock, alt rock, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And then like I did like 4 quick like songs of the funk, blues, rock is what I do.
Right.
And then we closed the night with backing up Justin, like live hip hop, like I was saying, NPR kind of style.
Super sick.
And then in between sets, our buddy, which is our drummer, Dan Krantz, was DJing in between sets, between changes. So there was never
Love
like
that.
this lack of like, there was just always consistency of music. So we're doing another one on April 1st.
Cool.
So you should come if you want.
I'd love to.
Yeah,
Love
it's
to.
on April 1st, and it's a Saturday night at the Minotaur, and they just
Oh, nice.
They renovated their stage. So
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. But basically, sorry, my main question was, what's your opinion about that? Because I know sometimes when bands play, it's always like the same genre, and that keeps into
Yeah.
you know what I'm trying to say here? Like
Yeah,
it
yeah.
keeps into theme, I guess, of the night. So
I
So-
love what you're doing for sure. And
But I
think
guess
this-
as a follow up, do you think doing this is like something that's more prominent nowadays?
it is. Yeah.
Because people are just into whatever.
Like if you see, like if you check out like organizations like Debaser that does like Peak, for example, or there was the Congrego event a few months ago at the All Saints Church in Sandy Hill. Widely different genres of music, but it all kind of meshed together because they're kind of all like kind of artsy and kind of indie, and it ends up bringing like some like different audiences together to discover different stuff. Like I think there's a way for different genres to be like kind of cohesive and fit, and I think like blues, jazz, funk works with hip hop, blues, jazz, funk works with folk, I think it can all mesh pretty well. But I think it's super cool. You do end up having like these different audiences come out for like the specific acts, and like hopefully they stick around for like the other acts and everything. Mm-hmm. And I think people do. I think people want to discover what's out there. I think it's dope. Yeah. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, because I think there's a not misconception, but normally like when bands are playing together, they the traditionalistic fucking whatever the fuck you want to call it would stay into like the same genre through the whole night, and that's what it is,
you feel like if you don't do it that way, then you're gonna maybe botch the show kind of thing. But it's like I think otherwise too. Yeah. It's like most people are just like into music nowadays. Like it's not so much like with like I'm sure some diehards are out there that love just like their genres, which is totally fine too. But
there's definitely like different scenes in Ottawa, but like it's crazy like how you might not know what other artists are doing in a different scene. So I think like it's kind of cool to be able to get the chance to break down those kind of like walls and get these different audiences together for sure.
Definitely. And awesome. Just to go back before we kind of wrap it up, first of all, just wanted to give a huge shout out to your album Diver. Is what it was called, right? Yeah. Available for streaming everywhere. Did you say it was like Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music, all that shit?
All of them.
Sick.
Yeah.
And and then we hope to expect more from you in the future. Do you mind giving another quick definition of that show on June 1st? The award show, sorry.
Yeah, Capital Awards, Capital Music Awards is the OMIC Awards show. Nominations will be happening from next Tuesday to March 10th, which might be a bit late for this this podcast, but hopefully there are some good nominees, and some of the categories will go out for public vote. So like the audience can have a say in who wins some categories, and then we'll have a great event at Bronson Center. It's going to be like the actual show with a live band and DJ as well. We're going to have like a reception, post and pre and post. I don't know why I said post and pre. That's a weird order to go through. It's going to be like a really fun event. I honestly can't wait. We did one, like our last one was last May, and I had such a good time. It was great. It was at Queen Street Fair, and we're trying to make these like bigger and better each time. So I think it'll be even better at Bronson.
That's incredible.
March 10th will be the nominations. And that's plug your band, plug your single, plug what you're doing, and then it's gonna be like these will go out to like these juries first. Who will grade everything. And then some of the categories, I don't know if I can name them all off the top of my head, but they will be kind of like, cut down to the top 5, and then those will be public vote.
Who elects the juries?
So we reach out to, it'll be OMIC, yeah. And so like we obviously want to have like a diverse and inclusive group of people doing each category, but also we want to have people that it actually makes sense for them to be grading. For example, we want music video of the year to be graded by video producers or people that are linked to
that makes sense.
To film.
Fair enough. That's awesome.
And we're gonna specify also what regions people can be from, I think like for like single of the year it's going to be specifically Ottawa based, and like songwriter of the year we're going to have it be a bit of a wider scope, like who the juror can be. Yeah, it's all like it's going to be very transparent, and all the info is going to be on our website, ottawamike.com.
That's amazing.
What are your
/CMA.
What are some final words? Let's say advice, life advice, if you call it, or whatever. Maybe just for an artist. I ask this question to everybody. To maybe they just want to start being more active in their musical career.
Yeah.
What would be your words?
Okay, so I'd say if you're starting off and want to start doing like more shows and stuff like that, go out to as many local shows as you can. And meet the artists that are playing. I need to drink water. It's a good thing we're ending things now because my voice is leaving.
No worries.
And try and meet the artists. Get to know them. If you've got music out, like for sure, like if you like send them like try and connect with them on Instagram. Send them like a link to your stuff. And they might want you to open for them or something, like that's kind of how I
that's true.
That's kind of how I got started, I think, with some of my friends, like my close friends. I remember that's how I met Sandy from Teenage Fiction. I just like loved his set and asked him like, can I open for you? And he's like, yeah, sure. Awesome. Otherwise, like go to open mics. That's a good place to meet like artists that are at a similar level, like like start a little like network with the open mic scene, and like support each other.
I've seen bands develop off of it.
Yeah, for sure.
Legitimately.
Totally. Yeah, me too. That's a great way. And then once you're ready, get that website, get that EPK going. Yeah.
Nice, man. Nice. I'm definitely gonna make a website, or at least look into it for sure.
For sure, yeah.
So,
look at what like artists that are like a few steps ahead of you in their career are doing, and just like kind of copy them. Like that's also a great way to plan tours and stuff.
Very
like,
true.
Look at where they went last year and kind of base your tour off of that. You can do the same thing with their EPKs, their websites, whatever.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say every situation's unique, but it's like there is always a formula to things. So it's like it's good to kind of look at the people who have done it prior to you. Like I very much agree with that.
Yeah.
For anybody who's listening, we will be linking all of your stuff into our description, and I don't know if it's cool if we link some OMIC stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Please do. Yeah, cool. If it helps out. Check it out.
Yeah. But honestly, Karim, thank you so much. Would love to have you again.
Thank you.
And just as a little tidbit, I won't go too far into it, but we're going to have Karim and his band, Kaspien, doing our first sort of like live off the floor. We had a writing room series where people had like sat and done acoustic stuff. Yeah. This is we're gonna have a nice live off the floor with you soon. So stick around for that because it'll be cool. And thank you again for coming on. Yeah,
thank you.
Appreciate it
so much. I learned
this was
a lot.
so much fun. Yeah, me too. Thank you. You guys are great. Awesome.